What's up, guys? In today's episode, we're going to go over guitar cables. Stay tuned. What is up, my fam? It's your boy Luis Torres, and I am back from my little hiatus. Like anything else, sometimes you have to be like, fuck that shit. I need a break. That's kind of what I did. So in that timeline, I decided to purchase a specific guitar cable that everyone raved about. And then I figured, you know what? While it's en route, let me just buy a bunch of other guitar cables and see how they all kind of fare in the world of cabling. So when they all came in, I quickly realized that there are really inexpensive, great guitar cables. There are really inexpensive, terrible cables, but there are also expensive, real chintzy, corny, garbage cables. And then, of course, there's expensive, great cables without paying $170 for a 20-foot Mogami. So the cable that I was referring to is I'll pull it right here. Where the heck is it? I thought I had it in my hand. I actually do have it in my hand. Is the Ampturco. So I was super excited. These guys are in the US, they're in Pennsylvania. And again, I couldn't, I had so many friends that were just like, bro, you need a cable? You want the ultimate cable? Get your Ampturco cable and just don't bother with anything else. And I was just like, all right, let's take a look. So I ordered this, but of course, I ordered all these also. So I ended up ordering a GLS, which is this cable. I ordered a Monster, which is this one. And I'm putting it against the Curlin that I have, that I've always been using, and ended up getting a different version of another GLS, which I tried this one also. And here's the one thing. So Curlin has a cable called the Premium line. These are about $20, for a 20-footer. They're not bad. It actually has, this one is like a woven fabric material over the rubber, and that's cool. It gives it a different flair. I ordered a few gray. They have them in black and red, whatever. And these are great for the price. So this is definitely in the ballpark of inexpensive yet great. Again, this was $19.95. You can probably get the shorter ones, and they were like $15, and they're shorter. Speaker cables were like $10. All right, so let's put that on the side. Then I ordered GLS, and GLS is actually founded by an engineer who helped basically promote Randall amplifiers back in the early 70s when they first started. So he ended up starting GLS speakers, and eventually the family moved over to cabling and things of that nature with regard to speaker systems. I spoke to one of the sons, maybe his name was Scott. Nice, just a nice guy, and he was just, giving me the information on his dad, and I thought that was real cool. So I ordered this one. This one is kind of, and I hate to say it, this was a slightly expensive cable that I felt didn't make the cut. And the cabling was just terribly thin. It kind of just reminded me of the guitar cables that I would grab, when I first started playing. They were just thin. They were kind of cheap feeling. But again, great company. I'm sure they make better cables. I just didn't feel like spending $500 on cables just to have $500 worth of cables on top of the hundreds of dollars in cables that I already have. So I had to keep, within reason. So this one, I didn't really like it, but whatever, you get what you pay for. That was 20. Here is one I bought, which was a monster. And I don't mean monster, figuratively, I mean the company Monster. This one actually is just terribly noisy, and it's brand new. It came out of the packaging. I even opened up the sleeve over here. They're intact. I don't know what happened, but I have to go ahead and return this one. So this one did not make the cut, although to kind of, where do I have the other one? I have another Monster cable, which funny enough, I've never seen since I got this one. I do not have it here. Dude, I have so many cables and I didn't even think about pulling that one out. But I have a Monster cable that has a gold ending, and I remember it being super expensive, and I bought 2 of them. That one was incredible, but those were like $85 each. One ended up not working after like a year or so. I didn't care because I had more cables after that. But this Monster cable was a real letdown. It actually says Monster Pro Link, right? Because this was part of the Pro series. And it says Monster Classic. What does this say? Improved performance speaker cable with ultra flexible durability jacket by Monster Cables. And clearly this is not a speaker cable. If you want to see a speaker cable, this is your typical speaker cable. Probably like a 12 gauge cable, and huge ends. And again, these are the speaker cables. This is just a mono guitar cable. So yeah, so Monster let me down with this one. But again, I can't stress that I have another guitar cable by Monster that is incredible and has been for years. And if I can find it quickly, I will share it with you. And I cannot find it here. Okay, on to the next one, which is the Ampturco. So here's the first thing that I kind of noticed. And, I don't want to say that I'm biased, but I'm officially biased just because, and I paid, I paid full price for this. I ordered, I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? I'm a YouTuber. I just ordered one of your guitar cables. Everyone's been raving about it. I want to go ahead and do a review with it. So he sent me this, which I paid for, and he hooked me up with a free speaker cable just because he wanted me to check this out. Because I told him that every single head here has its own speaker cable because that's how I plug them all into my amp. And he's like, I'll send you a speaker cable. You let me know what you think. First of all, this thing is absolutely amazing. It looks awesome. Again, this is a speaker cable. I love that he just has them twisted right through, along with these giant ends, right? These males. And this is what I'm used to when I'm comparing them to my other speaker cables, right? Typical, same size, probably, maybe the same company in that ballpark, at least. But the guitar cable uses the same thing. And to me, that's absolutely awesome. So this thing, I opened it and I was just like, wow, like that's totally next level. When you kind of just, whether it's a guitar, whether it's an amplifier, a cabinet, something that instantly wows you, that was this guitar cable, which I thought was absolutely awesome. So the cool thing is he sent me an email and he's like, hey, let me know what color end you want. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you can basically customize them and let me know if you want red, if you want black, any other color that we have in our, that we keep and maintain. So I said, how about a black cable with red tips? So here are all these reds, and here is, I wanted the 90 degree. That way that goes into the pedal or whatever I'm using, and that is the opposite end. And here's the one thing, the thickness or the gauge, I want to say this is 14 gauge. And keep in mind that these speaker cables are 12 gauge, which means that these monsters are probably like 18 gauge. I mean, there's such a huge noticeable difference. I don't know if you could really tell. Let's see. Oh yeah, you could totally tell, right? You could tell that the bottom one is significantly thinner than the top one, and that's just again and that's like an ego thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if you want to feel like a professional, even if you're not, because Lord knows I'm not. But if you just want to feel like, hey, I have good gear, I have good equipment, I have a good guitar, I have a good amplifier, I have a great cabinet, whatever the case is, you want to match that with other things that are within that ballpark. And having a cheap cable, you can do that, of course, because I've done it for years. But after getting this cable, I'm just like, yo, I need to step my game up. Like that's a completely different level of the game when it comes down to guitar cables. So again, I think I dropped it. I'll put a link below in the description. That way you guys can just check that out. But check out Ampturco. They're based in Pennsylvania. So I love the fact that they're an American company. Small business, he's basically doing it in his house and just pumping out, probably reels and reels of just cables and just hand making them here in the US of A, and to me, I think that's just important because as an American, if we can keep business moving, small businesses as a small business owner also, I just love overall just being there for other American companies that are not using, the money that they generate from revenue selling cables to go and buy a fleet of Lamborghinis or a jet. They're taking their kids out to a baseball game. And to me, that's absolutely amazing. So guys, again, check the description below. I will put a link directly to Ampturco's website. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, do so. I'm going to have a bunch of other videos this week because I love my Soldano pedal, but comparing it to my other Soldano gear, I realized that when you use this, it always helps when you have an overdrive hitting it at the same time. So I'm going to make another video with this Soldano using my Boss SD1 because the Super Overdrive pedal is a beast. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, you jerk. And as usual, this bearded fellow will talk to you soon. Look, dude, look at my beard. Yo, thing is huge. Peace.